All right, let's dive right into a theory that sounds like it was ripped straight from a comic book, but is actually taken very, very seriously by some of the smartest physicists on the planet. The many worlds theory. So buckle up, because reality is about to get a whole lot weirder.
So let's just kick things off with a huge question. What if every single decision you've ever made, from what you ate for breakfast this morning to the job you took last year, didn't just close off other possibilities? What if each choice actually created a brand new universe where those other options played out?
And this, right here, is the most mind-bending part of the whole idea. It suggests that there's not just one you. No, there are countless versions of you out there, each one living the life that could have been.
I mean, just look at this list. The theory basically says that anything that can happen does happen somewhere. So yeah, that means in some parallel reality, a version of you is accepting a Nobel Prize. Another you is walking on Mars. And, let's be real, another you is probably just having a much better hair day than you are today. The possibilities are literally infinite.
Now you might be thinking this all sounds like some brand new sci-fi stuff, right? Well, not exactly. The idea of multiple worlds has been floating around since ancient philosophy, but in science today, it's really split into two major camps. Let's take a look.
So this slide breaks it down perfectly. On one hand, you've got the cosmological idea that other universes are just really, really far away in space, like way beyond what we can see. On the other hand, you have the quantum idea, which is even stranger, that these other universes are right here, all around us, just vibrating in a different dimension we can't perceive.
To really wrap your head around that universe is far away idea, just look at this number, 93 billion light years. That's just the part of the universe we can see. If space itself goes on forever, then it's almost a mathematical certainty that things have to start repeating. That means trillions of light years away, there's another you, living a life almost exactly like this one. But honestly, the really profound, the truly bizarre version of this theory, it doesn't come from looking up at the stars. It comes from looking at the tiniest things imaginable. See, down at the subatomic level, the rules of reality as we know them just completely fall apart, creating this puzzle that's been driving physicists crazy for a century. And here's the absolute heart of the weirdness. Experiments have shown that a tiny particle, like a single electron, doesn't really have a fixed spot until we measure it. Before we look, it's more like a cloud of possibilities. It's literally in many places at the same time.
Nothing shows this better than the famous double-slit experiment. It's wild. When you're not watching, electrons act like waves, passing through both slits at once and creating a specific pattern on the other side. But get this, the second you put a detector there to see which slit they go through, bam! They suddenly act like normal little particles, picking one slit or the other. The very act of observing changes reality. So the big question is, why?
Well, the first big attempt to explain this was the Copenhagen interpretation. It basically said a particle is in a state of superposition. It exists in all its possible states at once. The spinning coin is the perfect analogy. While it's in the air, spinning, it's not heads or tails. It's kind of both. Only when it lands, when we observe it, does it collapse into one definite state.
But this whole "it only becomes real when you look at it" thing started to feel, well, a little nuts when you scaled it up. This is what physicist Erwin Schrödinger was getting at with his famous cat. He imagined a cat in a box whose life depended on a random quantum event. According to the Copenhagen interpretation, until you open the box, is the cat somehow both alive and dead? It just seems absurd, right?
And this is where a brilliant young physicist named Hugh Everett III came along with an idea that was just so elegant and so radical. He said, what if the wave function never collapses? What if reality itself just splits? In his view, both things happen. In one universe, you open the box and the cat is alive. And in another universe that just branched off from that moment, you open the box and the cat is dead.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This is an amazing story, but is it just a story? Is there any way to actually prove any of this stuff? Are scientists really out there looking for parallel universes? You bet they are.
Believe it or not, scientists are actively hunting for clues. At places like CERN, they're smashing protons together at incredible speeds, hoping to see some energy just vanish, as if it leaked into another dimension. Others are looking for something called a graviton, a theoretical particle that might be able to hop between universes. And then there's the cold spot, this giant weirdly cold patch in the afterglow of the Big Bang. Some physicists think it could be a cosmic bruise,
left over from when our universe literally bumped into another one. How cool is that?
So, we've been talking about quantum physics and cosmic bruises, and it all feels huge and far away. But what does any of this have to do with you and me in our day-to-day lives? Well, it fundamentally changes the way we think about choice.
You've all heard of the butterfly effect, right? This idea that one tiny, tiny change can ripple out and cause massive consequences down the line. Well, in the world of the many worlds theory, this isn't just a cool concept. It's the engine that literally creates new realities. Think about that what-if feeling we all get. What if I'd said yes to that date? What if I'd missed my flight? According to this theory, those aren't just daydreams. They're actual timelines, real universes that branched off in that moment, where another version of you is living out the answer to that what-if.
But here's the twist. This is the part that really matters. It's fun to imagine all those other yous out there, living other lives. But you only get this one. You're stuck on this timeline. And paradoxically, that makes the choices you make right here, right now, infinitely more important. You don't get a do-over in another reality. The decisions you make are the only ones that shape the universe you will ever know.
So, as you go about the rest of your day, just remember this. Every choice, big or small, is laying down the tracks for your one and only reality. The path you're on is being forged by you in this very moment. So, what's next? Well, that's entirely up to you.